Afternoon, I'm Max Brantley with the Arkansas Times. It's Wednesday, July the 1st, second month of the summer. Good news for there. Let's start with a sports story, a little something out of the ordinary. The UALR athletic department had a news conference this morning, and they talked about a new branding campaign for the school sports teams. No longer will they be UALR, University of Arkansas will be gone from the name. They're just going to be Little Rock, the Little Rock Trojans. I think it's a good idea. I think it follows in the footsteps of a lot of metropolitan universities that have just adopted strictly the name of the towns in which they're located. For now, this is just the athletic team, but you have to wonder if the future might not hold a Little Rock University for everything to do with our metropolitan campus. I think that too could be a good idea. They're going to light up the downtown bridge crimson tonight for the in honor of the new Trojan brand. So that's a little sports news from the Arkansas Times today. Fayetteville Election Commission officials have gotten the ballot fixed for September 8th special election in Fayetteville on a civil rights ordinance that will extend civil rights protections to, among others, sexual orientation and gender identity. It's going to be a stripped down ordinance. It's going to be easier to understand. The ballot is simply going to say what the ordinance says and ask voters whether they're for or against it. It was a lot more confusing last time around. A little bit of excitement in Yell County today. The county clerk of Yell County told me that for the time being she wasn't going to issue marriage licenses. She wouldn't say why, said she was consulting a lawyer despite advice from everybody from the governor on down that county clerks had to issue marriage licenses. She wasn't too happy to talk about it. She hung up on me. Finally, late this afternoon, I got word from the clerk's office that all has returned to normal in Yell County. They will issue marriage licenses, including, should any turn up, a same-sex couple. The Jim Bob Duggar family is back in the news again. In Touch Weekly, the celebrity gossip magazine that's been following the family closely and blew up the story about sexual molestation within the household many years ago, is back with new information. One is that a girl, she was then a girl, who supposedly was a victim of molestation in the household, is contemplating a lawsuit over what happened. That not only would present potential financial risk for those who are named, it could force the Duggar family to talk about exactly what they did in terms of reports to authorities, counseling, and that sort of thing after these incidents occurred. In Touch has also reported that the local police, the Town Police, had provided paid bodyguards to the Duggar family at a time when the police agency may have been investigating child abuse allegations against the family. This strikes some as at least the appearance of a conflict of interest. Purple Hearts were awarded today at the Arkansas State Capitol to one man who was wounded and the family of a man who was killed in the 2009 terrorist attack in which a man who'd converted to Islam and had been in Yemen opened fire on military men outside a Little Rock recruiting station. The law had to be changed to allow Purple Heart to be awarded for such things on American soil. They were remembered today in a solemn ceremony. I reported yesterday, but after we recorded this, that Southwest Airlines is going to resume in January nonstop flights to St. Louis. This is a city with historic ties to Little Rock, which for a couple of years now has not had direct air service. This is going to be good news to a lot of people, particularly those who still follow the St. Louis Cardinals. Southwest is still reorganizing its schedule after a big national reorganization. We are going to lose some flights in January to Baltimore and Chicago Midway. Finally, for your reading enjoyment, I urge you to go to the Arkansas Times Facebook page and see a remarkable post about Senator Jason Rapert, the state senator from Faulkner County, who's prone to say all sorts of outrageous and incendiary things. He made a remark about that it would be the majority's business to decide what rights minorities have, and this prompted an enormous outcry on the internet. Of 250,000 people have looked at this post on our Facebook page. Rapert's apparently stayed up most of the night castigating his enemies like the Arkansas Times blog for taking him out of context. Gee, what we did was just directly quote Jason Rapert. Nothing more dangerous than that. Res ipsa loquacious bore is how I put it, or res ipsa loquitur is the legal term. And finally, a great piece I recommend to you read. It's also cited on the Arkansas blog. It's by a Washington Post congressional reporter. It's on 81 things Mike Huckabee has denounced over his career, from dancing to twerking to Beyonce to champagne served at Arkansas Symphony Orchestra intermissions. My favorite is one in which Huckabee denounced people who spend a lot of time thinking of things that they don't like about other people. Well, here's a good list of several dozen from Mike Huckabee. It's pretty good reading. Is Mike Huckabee getting into sort of the joke candidate status? With some people, maybe, and that's not a bad thing. I'm Max Brantley. I'll be back tomorrow.